Hey, I've been literally I have hey in my windshield. Not even kidding. So I've been reading quite a bit. Look, I've always liked reading. I've always been at my core someone who likes to read, right? I like to seek and read and gain information, knowledge, whatever. But I have been reading more than usual. I should say more consistently. Like usually I'll finish a book, and then like X amount of time will pass before I start the next book. And I've been actually more on a roll of like finish one book, start the next one the next day. And so I've been able to read just in the last month and a half alone, 3.5 books. Yep, 3.5. I'll post on Instagram what I'm reading, because somebody made a comment like, why don't you put the titles? That's actually, why didn't I do that? So I'm gonna do that. The next photo dump, I'll show you guys what I've been reading or what I already read, as well as my whole book collection as a whole. I today got started on, I bought this book like well over a year ago, so I'm glad I'm reading more. But this book that I'm reading now that I just started today is by Dr. Caroline Leaf, and it's Clean Up Your Mental Mess, and it's fantastic so far. I'm almost at the end of chapter 1. Obviously, like, I'm reading it as I'm working. So by today, I'll finish that chapter. And that's how I've been doing it, is a chapter a day. And I think the reason why I've been able to be more consistent is because how I used to do it is read as much as possible in a day. And it's like, that's not sustainable, because there's other things I have to get done during the day, or, life happens, and then, or information overload, so the way I've been doing it now to have time to read, have time for everything else, and have time for myself, and be able to retain more of the information I'm reading and the knowledge I'm gathering, by doing a chapter a day of each book. So if whether I'm doing 1 book a day, 2 book a day, I've even gone as high as 3 book a day. Depends on how much I have to do that day. If there's not much that I have to do that day, I will read a chapter of all 3 books. If I have quite a bit to do that day, then it'll be like one or 2. And so that's how I've been doing it. It's the most sustainable way for me. And it's a way that I can actually retain the knowledge that I'm reading, so that I can put it into practice in real life, to further ingrain it. Now, that's the one I'm reading now, Clean Up Your Mental Mess by Dr. Caroline Leaf. I'm also doing a chapter a day of the 48 Laws of Power. The books that I have already read, man, I'll post it. I can't remember the author's name. I'm sorry. How to hear, validate, how to, oh God. How to, I'll just post the book. Because I'm also paying attention to the road right now. But it's like how to hear, listen, and validate. That was a very good book. Very easy to understand. Very well written. Very step by step. So that's, that was a really good one. What was the other one? I'm in love. I am in love with Emotional Intelligence and Why It Matters More Than IQ by Daniel Goldman, not Goldman, Goleman. Fantastic. Probably one of the best books I have read so far. I mean, so detailed. And then he breaks it up into parts. So part 1, which he clearly states in the intro, you can skip if you're not like a science nerd or a lover of the science aspect of it, and go on to part 2 and part 3 of the book. But I read part 1 and it was just, I love the science aspect of health as well. Huge, especially neuroscience, neuropsychology and neurophysiology. I mean, I'm a lover. I can't stress enough. It's fantastic. It's like candy. Okay, so if you are like me and you like that aspect, part 1 is a real fucking treat. It is fantastic the way he wrote that, and so well explained. And then part 2 and 3 and so on are there to like tell you more of the social and life applicable aspects of emotional intelligence. He fully breaks that down to from the full spectrum of healthy, unhealthy, 2 extremes, where the balance is in the middle, how it looks like in society, real, actual examples of people in real life, not like made up stuff. Like, I mean, he's fantastic, huge fan. A year ago, I read Atomic Habits. That helped change a lot for me too. I read that a little more than a year ago. But love it. There's also No Excuses, Self-Discipline. I know I'm cutting out part of the title here. I'll post that too. Fantastic book. And then there's another one. There's Emotional Intelligence, How to Hear, Listen, and Validate. And I'm not remembering right now. Totally not remembering right now. And I think part of it is because I'm also trying to pay attention to the road, so it's cutting into my thought process. So yeah, I mean, and then I've also been using the Calm app. And I just started that this week. It's not like I've been using it. I just started that this week because I started seeing like they do have daily practices that help you be more in the present moment fully. Because I'll be here in the present moment fully sometimes, and then sometimes I struggle with it where there's 1,000,001 different thoughts happening in my head at the same time, so I'm not fully here getting everything out of this moment that I can. And that is something that I actually strive towards. So I've been practicing. So that has been kind of like helping, like teaching me how to do that, and how to, if your mind veers off, how to bring yourself back to the present moment. So I'm really liking it. I find myself wanting to come back to the app and do all the prompts, which is the self-journaling, the journaling, the self-discovery, the mindful practices. I'll even do the breathing. I even like their series. They're like teaching series. Actually, one of the ones that I'm into right now perfectly aligns with the books that I have been reading and the one that I'm reading now. How to utilize emotional intelligence in both leadership and in your personal life. How to take that pause before choosing your response instead of being emotionally reactive, so that you can like turn on the executive part of your brain so that you can make better decisions and have actual like appropriate responses. So these are all things that I've been putting into practice. I'm starting to see a difference already too. When I'm driving, I used to have 100% road rage every single time. Like, what the fuck? And I've been practicing like, no, just because these things are out of my control anyway. So why am I raising my cortisol and hurting myself over something it's out of my control. All I can do is respond appropriately to the situation, and that's it. And it's actually been working. I haven't like actually had the road rage all week. So I'm going to continue this path. I really like this. I really do embrace that growth and that practice that I'm doing right now in responding to situations better and more in control, and more in control of myself. That's the most important part, and allowing myself that space for my executive brain to completely come on board with whatever's happening in front of me, even if it means I delay my response. I would rather delay my response and have my executive brain help me make a proper decision on the response to the situation than to react right away and then feel like, damn, I could have responded better. So everything's a practice. Everything. From healing to rewiring your thoughts and beliefs, and, checking ourselves daily, making sure that we are still somehow making progress towards who we want to become and how we want to be, so that we can make more progress in a healthy way towards the quality of life that aligns best with us and our authenticity. Also practicing making more room for myself regardless of where I'm at, meaning no matter what room I walk into completely authentically, no matter what energies I'm picking up on from other people, to stay grounded in my energy and respond in a way that aligns with my values instead of mirroring other people. So, I'm also getting better at that too. I do see a difference there. I really do. So everything's a practice, even healing. And part of healing is reframing our feelings and perspectives that are attached to memories that otherwise have a lot of pain. So that takes reframing your perspective, your behavior, how you feel, how you respond, becoming aware of how your body's initially responding in a painful way to certain memories, which adds to your overall self-awareness, which is the cornerstone of now I'm aware of this, now I can do something about it. What direction do I want to go in, etc. And then start aligning your practices and your behavior to go in that direction. So, I'll take a picture of the books. I will post them in the next photo dump. My Instagram is Potty Mouth Nutritionist. No S at the end. It's just Potty Mouth Nutritionist. I'll post it there. If you want, I'll even talk about what I'm reading as I go. That's up to you guys. But I'm just excited. I'm seeing more improvement in my temperament, in my behavior, in my responses, in my thought process, and giving myself that pause and honoring, bringing my executive brain function into every situation so that I continuously improve my responses. All right. Love you guys.